Hello, and welcome to my presentation for the 2022 Calm Conference entitled Putting the Puzzle Back Together, Assessing and Aligning an Inherited Team for Greatness. In this presentation, I will cover the approach I have taken to rebuild an inherited team of faculty librarians, beginning with some context about my institution and library organization, an overview of the theoretical framework I've used to help restructure and develop my team, and how I have implemented this theory. My objective is for new managers or experienced ones in attendance to consider how they can effectively assess their inherited team to identify and align with unit and/or library needs, encourage high-performance behaviors, and reinvigorate their team for success. I will then conclude with lessons I have learned from this process. My name is Karen Doster-Greenleaf, and I am the Director of Research and Instructional Services at Kennesaw State University, located in the Atlanta metropolitan area. I was hired in 2020, shortly after the university was elevated to an R2 designated institution, which has had a significant impact on the team I inherited. In addition to the recent R2 designation, there were other factors that impacted the necessity for me to strategically rebuild the team I inherited after coming on board. Shortly before I was hired, the library had undergone a library-wide reorganization. While beneficial from a university standpoint, this restructuring had created uncertainty amongst library faculty and staff. Concerns around previous management practices were brought to my attention, which conveyed distrust of library leadership amongst faculty and staff that I wanted to help fix. Faculty retirements and departures created talent vacuums that needed to be addressed quickly, and all academic departments were required to develop R2 roadmaps, which included new degrees and infusion of research assignments into undergraduate curriculum that created an increase in demand for library instruction and research support. These new research needs also presented an opportunity for the unit to expand its mission into advanced research methods support, like data management and scholarly communications. When I was hired, there were 2 units within the Department of Public Services with overlapping missions to provide instruction and research services to the KSU student populations. This was Research and Instructional Services and the Graduate Library. After the retirement of the Graduate Library Director, it was decided that RIS and the Graduate Library unit would merge. Now that I had inherited 2 teams to bring together, I needed to identify a strategic approach to successfully accomplish this. I found my solution pulling from the article Leading the Team You Inherit. It's not the same as building one from scratch by Michael Watkins. While the article focused on corporate case studies, I found the approach could be easily adapted to an academic library. This 3-step approach made this daunting task easier to tackle. The 3 steps are broken down to assessing your pool of talent, reshaping the team based on the unit's and organization's needs while making the most of the available talent, and then cementing those changes through team development. Let's talk about how you can approach assessing your team. I broke this step into 2 categories, individual or team assessments. The first category gives you a chance to evaluate each team member based on your own interactions with them, their performance track records, and any other internal documents that can help you determine their effectiveness within the team, such as a personal strength assessment like the Clifton Strengths Finder, which I was lucky to have at my disposal and helped immensely. The second category gives you a chance to assess each team member within the context of the group they're working with. What are the team meeting dynamics like? How do individuals contribute to the unit's overall productivity output? And while not directly tied to the team, it is also beneficial to gather perspectives from others within the library and university. Assessment of the team should begin with identifying qualities librarians should have to effectively meet work needs. Here are a recommended set of qualities to consider when assessing your inherited team for success. Competence deals with the technical expertise and experience needed to do the job effectively. Trustworthiness, ability to follow through with commitments and be forthcoming. Energy, positive workplace attitude. People skills, gets along with others and supports collaboration. Focus, sets priorities and sticks to them. And last, judgment, exercises good judgment when under pressure. Here is the quality breakdown I developed after reviewing the positions housed within my unit, the unit's mission, and my goals for the unit. While members of my team have specializations, the core of their positions are all similar as instruction and research support librarians. Focusing on this core, I was able to determine a quality breakdown that I could apply to my assessments of each team member. People skills and trustworthiness are extremely important to the effectiveness of my unit. In addition to considering their relevance to the team members' positions, I also considered what skills were the most difficult to train when weighing these qualities. Once you've had the opportunity to assess your team, you'll begin to reshape your team within the constraints of your organization's culture, administrative mandates, and available talent. To help navigate these challenges, start with considering what high-performance outcomes you want to aim for when reshaping or rebuilding your team. Here is the list recommended by Watkins that matched what my unit needed to accomplish to be as effective as possible. Leaders can then promote these high-performance outcomes by reshaping their teams, focusing on these 4 factors: composition, alignment, operating model, and integration. Composition focuses on turnover and new hires, reassignment of talent to other units, growing high performers, and altering existing roles. It's important to note that altering existing roles doesn't mean changing a position's job description. It could entail adjusting the scope of the position, having people swap jobs, or creating new positions by redistributing the work previously done by one person. Reshaping a team in this manner helps increase performance by ensuring team members' skills are best utilized, but also by revitalizing their interest in their work for those who feel disengaged from their job. For a team to succeed, everyone must have a clear sense of purpose and direction. That purpose sometimes needs to be rewritten. Other times, you need to find ways to pull the team together around the existing purpose. To get everyone aligned, here are the 4 questions your team must agree on. What will we accomplish? Why should we do it? How will we do it? And who will do what? The why question can be the most challenging, but it is also the most vital when incentivizing your team to move in the right direction. Reshaping also involves rethinking how and why your team collaborates. This may include determining what the ideal size of your team should be, whether it's increasing or decreasing it, creating sub-teams within the core unit if this helps improve collaboration, rethinking how meetings are used and run, and drafting new workflow procedures. Don't think you need to stick to the way things ran before, or be afraid to make big changes for the betterment of the unit. The point of integration is to identify and change any destructive patterns of behavior and foster a collective purpose. Destructive patterns could include infighting amongst team members about work territory, disengagement, gossip, etc. Ground rules could include setting communication expectations. This part of the process can be essential for anyone who has inherited a team with a negative group dynamic. To be successful while reshaping your team, trust will be key. If the team cannot trust each other or your vision, it will be an uphill battle no matter how well thought out your decisions are. You can build trust amongst your new team by being transparent, having and conveying confidence, creating a safe space where divergent opinions can be shared, and maintaining confidences. Energize the team with some early wins. Set challenges and goals, then set out ways to immediately work towards meeting them. Create a tiered system of goals, including a few easy to achieve and some long-term ones. The objective is to create a cycle of achievement and confidence. Here is how I began to rebuild my team. While I attempted to implement the approach in a linear process, I found myself applying the steps in a more cyclical manner, as the rebuilding had to occur in phases. During phase 1, I focused on assessing each team member, which took a couple of rounds as the 2 units were slowly merged. I also conducted a needs gap assessment of the unit services, including what was going well, what needed to be improved, and what were upper management's expectations. During phase 2, which was the reshaping, the unit collectively created a new unit mission statement and strategic goals. I created new positions and reassigned job responsibilities based on member skill sets and interest. I restructured the unit into 2 teams, as well as creating the new team lead position that would serve as project manager and provided an entry-level leadership opportunity for unit high achievers. I then set meeting schedules and expectations. In the third phase, each team identified short and long-term benchmarks from the strategic goals that they could achieve, resulting in a collective mission and team unity. Lessons I have learned from this process are: have open lines of communication with the team members during the assessment period. Explain why you're conducting the assessment and your goals. Allow them to be part of the process as much as possible. Keeping a secret will build distrust and create difficulties when you attempt to reshape the team. Understanding why and when you have meetings is vital. For example, I started with monthly meetings with each unit member, but as the team grew and was restructured, this became burdensome and unproductive. These meetings are now only scheduled on an as-needed basis or for semester team building purposes. Last, I recognize this approach is not as straightforward as Watkins presents in his article. I have found several of the steps worth revisiting, even after reshaping the team. Restructuring is still a work in progress, but I'm really proud of how my team has come together. Thank you for your time and your attention.